very welcome back to the show. Now, when it comes to mobile phones, computers and tablets, I think most of us would admit that we stare at these devices for far longer than we should. In fact, last year figures were released which showed Irish people check their smartphones 57 times a day on average. So what about kids today, and how is screen time affecting them? Well, let's find out. Please welcome Ollwyn Moran of Calling Kids to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you very much.
It is becoming a bigger and bigger problem because not only does it affect kids' brains, it affects their motor skills. So can you tell us what Calling Kids is and how you discovered all these different facts?
Yeah, well, so I suppose, my background is in neurological development and kind of pre-pregnancy, pregnancy and post-pregnancy, and then I've worked with children in the remediation side with learning difficulties and behavioural challenges. So I'm a bit of a nerd. Love kind of no, I celebrate it. I love kind of research and reading up on all sorts of research and things. And so at Cogni Kids, we develop products that help babies develop the way they need to develop, but adapting to the modern world. So, kind of like things are changing, and particularly kind of teachers now of junior infants are seeing influences of screen time coming into junior infants where they don't have the pincer grip developed. So they can't hold a pen. You need the pincer grip to be able to hold a pen or a pencil or a paintbrush. You need it to be able to hold a knife and fork, to tie your shoelaces and things like that. And they're now coming into school, and teachers are actually having to start to do activities specifically to help kids develop the pincer grip. And it's as a result of screen time where they swipe and they tap, and they're not doing fine motor movements and things like that. So there's a lot of, it's more and more now this research is starting to come because, everybody has a phone. Alarming statistics show that 6-month-old babies, 51% of 6-month-old babies are given a phone to use or to look at or to interact with.
And you can see it there. My nephew looked at a magazine and was swiping the magazine. Did not actually know what a book was. And a lot of kids are going to school without ever having read a book or seen a book.
Absolutely. And that's the scary thing is, what that actually shows is that, if you present a child with a book and they start tapping, kind of like your immediate response is to laugh because you think it's quite funny and, it's like, oh my goodness. But actually what that shows is that they're internalizing something very, very different, and that they don't understand that actually, there isn't an immediate reward, because when they tap on a screen, they get bing, lights or sound or colour or something immediate. But actually, kind of like their whole internal mechanism and I suppose their locus of control is very, very different to what we would have.
So not only do we have the issues with physiological control of the pincer movement, etc. Neurologically it's affecting them as well, because I know from my own nieces and nephews, I know probably from your kids as well, there is trying to wrestle the tablet or the computer or the Wii or whatever. It's quite difficult, but it has the same stimulus in the brain as a drug does on an adult, and that's
absolutely. It's absolutely terrifying, completely. When you think about it, that what actually happens is that when they interact on a tablet or computer screen or whatever, the reward centers in the brain are triggered, and so dopamine is released, and so dopamine is that feel-good factor, and so then they get this boost of, oh my god, this is amazing, and they want more, and so they keep going back for more and going back for more, which is the exact same thing as, research in the US have likened it to cocaine, the effect of cocaine on the brain. And there's a number of different research centres now, and this is the beauty of it now, is that neurological and brain kind of activity is much more accessible now, and it's non-invasive. So, like they can work with children, like I would work with Goldsmiths University in London, where they wear these little caps, and then they, they look at the brainwaves from that. So it means that it opens us up to being able to actually understand what is going on, what are the processes, and what are the impacts that actually technology has on children.
And a lot of parents, I suppose, would use it almost as a babysitter, just to keep the kids quiet. There you go, that could be grand. But I'm using educational apps, so that's okay. That's not okay, really, is it? I'm sorry now, parents out there, you're going to hate me for telling you this. The apps are as bad as anything else, really, aren't they? The educational apps. Yeah. I put that in inverted commas.
Can I plead the fifth on that?
Yeah.
So basically, it is the content. So if you're going to use, like the American Pediatric Association would recommend that no screen time for a child between 0 and 2. Just none whatsoever. Because if you think about it, the baby's brain, when a baby is born, it's actually underdeveloped. So technically, babies should stay in utero for another 12 months to allow the brain to develop. So the first 3 years of life is the most important neurological time, and it lays down foundations and pathways, and that's where learning is, kind of readiness is developed. And so if you give a baby something that's full of sensory stimulation, they can't process it. There's all these lights and sounds and everything. They actually have not got the wiring to be able to process it. What's much more effective is no TV in the background, and just sit down, go through a book, play with a toy, one-to-one, just talk to them, sing to them. I remember with my guys singing, and my eldest, and I felt at my first, and, felt really self-conscious about, singing in the house, and I was like, oh my God, I would have a voice for, like, the shower and nowhere else. But I used to sing, it's like, I'm frying the chicken now, and, just like weird stuff. Just
I'm going mad, I don't know how to company, what I do.
Exactly, and it's like, back in the dishwasher, I hate this job, yeah. So it's that, you cannot beat that. It's just very plain, very simple. Kids learn to read from your face, they learn empathy, they learn to kind of navigate their own emotions and things way better than any kind of app. And I've seen kind of some apps that, are supposed to help with handwriting. And like you see the kid and they're just tracing the letters with their finger. And I'm like, I know nobody that writes with their index finger. I'm sorry to say, it's not actually doing anything to benefit. So,
and I suppose you can see the reactions if you try and take the tablet or take the phone or take anything off them, and they go ballistic.
Absolutely, because it releases all those hormones too. So particularly with boys, a lot of adrenaline is released when if they're this is it Fortnite or something like that. I should know because I mean
Fortnite is the new Minecraft.
It is the new well.
Oh God knows that.
But it releases a lot of adrenaline, and if kids don't burn that off, then it can transform into aggression, because how else can they release it? And so then when you try to take it off them, there is that, first of all, there's the aggression separation, because you're cutting off their dopamine, their drug as such, and then they have all this pent up aggression, and they're like, how am I going to diffuse this?
So what is like the proper age? I know you can't really say from one child to another, everything different, to give a child a phone, to give a child a tablet. I know they use them in secondary schools quite a lot now, but by and large, what are the guidelines that you would recommend?
So again, like I would say, really screen time for an under 2, just like you shouldn't, but being realistic. If you need the 5 to 10 minutes to get the dinner on or whatever, that's okay, but not as a babysitter, not for an hour on end, or not for any longer than that at all, and certainly not adult kind of content. From 2 to 5, 1 hour maximum per day, and then use it as an interaction though with you and the baby, or the little one. Talk about what's going on, maybe relate it to something in the real world, turn it off, and then kind of talk about, so what do you think Molly did, and this kind of thing, and really get them, because if you think about it, screen time is passive learning. You're not actually challenging them to create stories in their own mind and use their own imagination to really kind of build those brain sensors, and so that they can navigate learning when they're older. And you just can't beat a book. If you're reading a book to a little one, the amount of brain processing that goes into that is absolutely phenomenal. And then, so that would be up to 5. And then from 5 onwards would really be, kind of like, your child, but also don't be afraid to say no. You're the parent, you're who needs to guide them. You know how dangerous it is to, like I always say, I wouldn't give my 12-year-old the keys to my car and let him drive the car. Why would I give him a smartphone? Because, it's as
so why
detrimental.
do you think smartphones should be?
Well, unfortunately, in my house now, nobody will be getting a smartphone until they're 16.
Why is that?
I just think
you know your stuff when you're talking about this, so there's valid reasons why.
Yeah, there's a number of different reasons. So obviously part of it would be the neurological side, because it does affect concentration, it does affect being able to retain kind of information, but also then I just think it's too powerful a tool. You're handing them like a computer essentially, that you're not going to be with them all the time when they have this. You can't help them navigate certain sites, things pop up that they, don't know how to navigate. They don't know social media. You've got the cyberbullying, all that sort of stuff. And I just don't want to expose the kids to it. And I keep saying to them, we value experiences rather than things in our house. So
if anyone wants to hit you up for advice, how do they get in touch with you? info@cognikids.com. They can email us or find us on our website. Yeah, we have a few blogs up about screen time and how to navigate that successfully. So, Ollwyn, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I'm scared Jesus out of loads of people now. Anyway, we're here to educate and talk to you again soon. I have time for a quick break. But when we come back, it's Travel Tuesday and Michelle Jackson.